Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome you to the side event organized by human rights organization Rights and Freedoms of Turkmenistan Citizens. And today we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts, lawyers, and human rights defenders who will shed light on the most pressing issues that continue to affect the lives of individuals within and outside of the country. With no further ado, let me pass the floor for some opening remarks to Mr. Daud Karizov, main expert on civil and political rights at the Rights and Freedoms of Turkmenistan Citizens.
Distinguished participants, my name is Daud Karizov. I was born and raised in Turkmenistan, and I have experienced firsthand the brutality of its regime. My family has been persecuted, threatened, and nearly destroyed by a government that operates with absolute impunity. I stand before you today not just as a witness to these atrocities, but as proof of what happens when someone dares to challenge the system. Turkmenistan is often called a hermit kingdom, but its crimes do not stop at its borders. The violence, corruption, and lawlessness of this dictatorship extend far beyond. The government of Turkmenistan signed international treaties, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, committing to uphold basic human freedoms. Its neutral status, recognized by the United Nations General Assembly, further obligates it to respect international rulings. But these commitments are a lie. On July 9, 2024, the UN Human Rights Committee ruled that my father, Geldi Karizov, was the victim of multiple violations of his fundamental rights. His imprisonment, torture, and forced exile were recognized as crimes against international law. And yet Turkmenistan has done nothing. It refuses to comply with the ruling. Instead, my family has been subjected to death threats, clear evidence that the regime believes it can silence us through fear, not justice. We're not the only victims, though. Women in Turkmenistan suffer horrific abuse every day. Domestic and sexual violence are rampant, yet victims have no protection. Anti-Semitism against women is ignored and even encouraged. The state suppresses any voice of resistance, punishing those who speak out. The international community cannot allow this to continue. Turkmenistan has turned its UN membership into a shield, hiding behind diplomacy, while it continues to torture, imprison, and silence its people. We demand action, international pressure to force Turkmenistan to comply with UN decisions, accountability for human rights violations, no more impunity, protection for those fighting for justice inside and outside Turkmenistan. A country that signs international agreements must honor them. A government that refuses to comply with binding UN rulings must face real consequences. Thank you.
Thanks, Daud. I will now give the floor to Mr. Timur Misrihanov, a lawyer who will go in further details of the case of Mr. Geldi Karizov. The speaker will present his speech in Russian, following English translation.
Так, сейчас хотел бы рассказать вам о том, что произошло, вы все знаете, решение принято Комитетом ООН по правам человека.
I would like to start by talking about a decision that has been carried out. Most of you have heard about it.
Теперь подробности я не буду рассказывать о том, как это происходило, все подробности. Единственный сейчас вопрос остается открытым, это возмещение вреда, причиненного незаконными действиями властей Туркменистана Geldi Karizov.
I don't want to go too much into detail about the nuances of this case, but what we need to focus on is that the decision was carried out in favor of Geldi Karizov and the illegalities that have been carried out against him.
Возмещение вреда, причиненного незаконными действиями органов власти любого государства, даже и в том числе Туркменистана, предусмотрено не только международным законодательством, но и внутренним законами Туркменистана.
The country's the reimbursement by the country should be carried out due to its agreements, not only local, but international agreements that it has been signatory to.
В этой связи хотелось бы сказать, что есть у нас прецеденты, когда решение этого комитета именно в том плане возмещения вреда, причиненного незаконным действием, было удовлетворительно решено.
With this in mind, I would like to remind you that there have been cases, specifically with Turkmenistan, where cases have been ruled in favor of certain individuals and reimbursements have been carried out.
По этическим причинам я не могу сказать назвать имена этих людей, но прецедент есть, значит, Туркменистан обязан возместить вред, причиненный господину Гильдыкеризу.
Due to ethical reasons, I can't talk about the specifics of those cases, but I can say that reimbursements have been carried out, and so at this point, we're waiting and insisting on Turkmenistan to commit to its obligations in international law.
Для решения этого вопроса мы будем в дальнейшем сейчас обращаться не только внутренние судебные органы, не только внутри Туркменистана, но и международные исполнительные органы.
To find a solution for this case, we're not only going to be reaching out to the local government in Turkmenistan, the local judicial system, but we will be utilizing international law as well.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Thanks, Timur. I would like now pass the floor to Halmurat Soinov, who will reflect on the issue of transborder repressions used by the government of Turkmenistan.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, я представляю Комитет национального спасения Туркменистана.
Ladies and gentlemen, I represent the Committee of the National Saving of Turkmenistan.
Бывший депутат Верховного Совета Туркменистана и мэр города Кизлярат.
I have been the mayor of the city of Kizlyarvat, and I have been the deputy of the Supreme Majlis in Turkmenistan.
Каково состояние с правами человека в Туркменистане, уже весь мир знает. Я не буду на этом заострять внимание, мои коллеги подробно уже по несколько раз, несколько лет рассказывают об этом, но я хотел бы заострить ваше внимание совсем другом.
The situation inside Turkmenistan is severe, and my colleagues have been talking about it more than once. And so today I want to focus a little bit on something else.
Мы знаем, что 60% или более того трудоспособного населения Туркменистана сейчас находится в трудовой эмиграции. В основном они находятся на территории Турецкой Республики.
We know that 60% or maybe even more of the working population of Turkmenistan are actually outside of Turkmenistan and are working as workforce migrants in countries outside of the borders of Turkmenistan.
Права и свободы этих людей со стороны турецких властей не соблюдаются. То есть туркменские спецслужбы творят любое беззаконие по отношению к туркменским гражданам, работающим или проживающим на территории Турецкой Республики.
Their rights and their freedoms in Turkey are not being adhered to. The Turkmen authorities send their special forces to Turkey, and those forces are allowed to carry out whatever they want to carry out towards the Turkmen citizens there.
И один из них, как пример я вам приведу, это мой коллега по Комитету национального спасения Мирдан Мухамедов.
And one of those people is Mirdan Muhamedov, my colleague in the Committee of National Saving of Turkmenistan.
Он был задержан турецкими властями 10 июня 2024 года и через 16 дней, то есть 26 июня того же года, был экстрадирован незаконным путем в Туркменистан по ложному обвинению. То есть тут налицо факт того, что похищение с турецкой стороны по договоренности с туркменской стороны провели похищение человека.
On the 16th of June, he was arrested and held for 26 days, after which he was deported out of Turkey. which is a clear indication that he was actually kidnapped, because this is a clear case of kidnapping by the Turkmen authorities in Turkey.
По сей день мы не знаем, сколько ему определили меру наказания, в какой он тюрьме находится и в каком он состоянии. О нем нет никакой вести, ни близким, ни чужим, ни друзьям. И вообще мы, как его товарищи, не имеем от него никаких вестей уже в течение 8 месяцев.
Up until today, and it's about 8 months, we have no news about him. We don't know how much time he was given in Turkmenistan, in prison. We don't even know if he's alive.
Следующим претендентом на отправку и на похищение с территории Турецкой Республики является, опять-таки, наша коллега по Комитету национального спасения Умида Бекжанова.
Another case that we want to highlight of issue in Turkey is Umido Bekjanova.
У нее был срок проживания продлен до 6 месяцев, то есть должно было закончиться в апреле месяце 2025 года. Но ее прекратили по договору с турецкой стороной в январе 2025 года. То есть она не знала, что ее пребывание в Турецкой Республике без ее ведома было прекращено.
In this case, her legal status was she was allowed to be in Turkey legally up until April, but Turkmenistan carried out a special operation with the Turkish government where her status was reduced up until January without her knowing. Because of that, she past January
Поэтому она вынуждена сейчас находиться, значит, в разных квартирах, чтобы не выходить на улицу. Если будет она задержана, будет экстрадирована в Туркменистан.
After she gained knowledge about this, she went into hiding, and up until today she's in hiding. And because of that, she's worried that she will be deported and extradited.
И последнее, что я хотел заострить ваше внимание на том, что отец и сын Бердымухамедовой, захватившие власть в Туркменистане незаконным, значит, способами, угнетают туркменский народ средневековыми методами.
And the last thing I want to highlight is that the father and the son, Berdimuhamedov Sr. and Jr., have essentially taken over the country, and they're utilizing medieval strategies to torture the people.
И самое главное, они свои беззакония творят под знаком и знаменем Организации Объединенных Наций и прикрываются нейтральным статусом Туркменистана.
Worst of all, they're carrying all of this out with their neutrality status, which was given to them by the United Nations.
Спасибо за внимание.
Thank you for your attention.
Many thanks to the speakers. I would like now to turn to Mr. Gildika Rizam, a victim of political persecution whose case we've just discussed on the panel.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, я хочу рассказать вам о проблемах в Туркменистане, о трагическом положении проблем в Туркменистане, доведя до вас свою личную историю.
Honorable ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about the tragic situation in Turkmenistan through my personal story.
Я прошел туркменские тюрьмы, так, и прошел туркменский концлагерь Авадан-Депе.
I have gone through the Turkmen prison system, and I have been in the Turkmen concentration camp called Avadan-Tepe.
В этом концлагере я был заключенный номер 3 в камере номер 4.
In this concentration camp, I was prisoner number 3 in cell number 4.
Фамилии, имени нет у заключенных там.
The prisoners there do not have a name and surname.
Но благодаря помощи моей семьи, моих друзей, и слава Аллаху, я все-таки оказался жив, потому что тиран умер.
But with the help of my friends and my family, and thank God, at the end of the day, I survived because the tyrant at that time died, the first president of Turkmenistan, Sapar Murat Niyazov.
Я был очень рад, и я думал, что на этом закончились наши проблемы, потому что вот все, тирана нет.
I was extremely happy because I thought that our problems have finally been solved because the tyrant died.
Но, к сожалению, тирания в Туркменистане, она, скорее всего, напоминает поговорку, употребляемую в другой коннотации.
But unfortunately, the tyranny in Turkmenistan is similar to the proverb.
Король умер, да здравствует король.
But reverse, the king has died, long live the king.
И вместо одного диктатора на сегодняшний день в Туркменистане еще два новых. То есть отец Бердымухамедов, который пришел к власти и незаконно передал власть своему сыну.
But now, instead of one tyrant, Turkmenistan has two tyrants. First, the father, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, and second, his son, to whom he is essentially illegally given power, Serdar Berdimuhamedov.
Трагедия связана с тем, что народ запуган.
The tragedy of Turkmenistan is that the people are in fear.
И вот эта вот система тотального страха,
And this system of total fear
была внедрена еще при первом тиране,
has been implemented with the first tyrant.
Когда часть инакомыслящего пространства,
When part of the sphere of people that think otherwise
оказались, значит, пойманы, на них возбудили уголовные дела.
those people were caught,
И был такой
legal
всемирно
cases were
известный
raised against them,
суд Линча, по-туркменски так называемый Санджар.
and Turkmenistan had a very infamous lynching court, which has been in Turkmenistan called Sanjar, the Sanjar court judgment.
Это очень сильно напугало население. Сосед боится соседа, брат боится брата, никто ничего не может сказать. Вывести население из этого состояния практически было невозможно.
It scared the people of Turkmenistan very much, which essentially caused a situation where the neighbor is afraid of the neighbor, the brother is afraid of his brother. And to take the people out of this total fear has been very complicated and very hard.
Практически только за последние где-то, может быть, 5, может быть, около 10 лет. Вот теперь народ стал пробуждаться в этой информационно-идеологической войне.
And only 5 years later, only in the last 5 years, maybe up to 10 years, the people have finally started awaking in this information war.
И в этом смысле, конечно же, вот эти международные институции, так, универсальные институции, они имеют глобальное значение.
And in this sense, one could say that international institutions such as this have a global effect.
Когда было в течение 8 лет рассмотрено мое дело, и меня конфисковано, и, значит, уголовное дело в отношении меня, которое было возбуждено, было доведено до ООН, и ООН занял позицию пострадавшего, то есть мою сторону.
And what I'm coming to is that with an 8-year legal process where the United Nations, the Human Rights Committee, has essentially taken the side of the victim, my side.
Когда было вынесено решение о том, чтобы, так сказать, отменить все эти решения, относительно, что незаконно был осужден.
When the verdict has been carried out in my favor, which indicates
конфискованное имущество.
which indicates and proves that I was innocent,
Это
which
сыграло
indicates and says
грандиозную роль.
that-
Это вдохновило народ.
that the material compensations have to be carried out. It has enlightened the people. It has brought hope to the people.
И сейчас вот здесь называются имена и фамилии тех людей, которые услышали об этом, они были вдохновлены, и они тоже оказываются в этой ситуации только потому, что теперь они перешагивают свой страх и выходят в открытую борьбу с диктатурой.
And today we're mentioning names and we're discussing individuals and as a whole, people that are slowly now coming out to fight this dictatorship, having had hope brought to them by this verdict, to fight the dictatorship.
Я еще раз хочу в лице представителей ООН поблагодарить эту универсальную организацию за то, что их приверженность к демократическим принципам, так, и за то, что они фактически только благодаря этой организации
I do want to go and say thank you to the United Nations because with their upholding of democratic values and essentially thanks to this organization,
восторжествовала справедливость.
justice has been prevailed.
И мы надеемся, что такие случаи, их будет больше, потому что состояние прав в Туркменистане категорически отрицает всякие человеческие нормы и права.
And we do hope that more and more of these cases will come to light, more and more of these such similar cases will find victory because what is happening in Turkmenistan and the situation is just abhorrent.
Спасибо большое. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Givdi, and thanks, Dawood, for translation. Your story is indeed quite inspirational to us all. And now let me turn to our next speaker, Ms. Safia Ertegova, gender-based violence expert of the organization. Ms. Ertegova, we're eager to hear from you on the most pressing issues of gender-based violence in Turkmenistan.
My name is Safia Ertegova, and it's an honor for me to be here today and to be a part of the Rights and Freedom of Turkmenistan Citizens Organization, which has been tirelessly working for years against the dictatorial regime in Turkmenistan. Nowadays, Turkmenistan has emerged as an independent nation with its own set of rules and regulations. Today we're here to address the serious issues of gender discrimination that continue to affect women in the country. It's heartbreaking to see how deeply rooted and systematic these violations remain. So many Turkmen women's lives are shaped and often limited by these harsh government regulations. While the legal framework is designed to ensure equal rights and opportunities for both women and men, the reality tells a different story. Women in Turkmenistan face discrimination in various areas of life, including employment regulations, government participation, freedom of appearance, access to medical care, and personal safety. Moreover, women who advocate for human rights face persecution not only within their own country, but also when they are abroad. According to Article 26 of the Law of Turkmenistan on state guarantees for ensuring equal rights and equal opportunities for women and men, women are entitled to protection of their rights based on gender. However, in practice, these rights are routinely violated by law enforcement agencies and government institutions. In Turkmenistan, police officers and special services can conduct forced gynecological examinations of young girls to determine the presence of the hymen. This practice is a blatant violation of human rights and bodily autonomy, causing severe psychological trauma to the victims. Women in Turkmenistan face significant obstacles in obtaining or renewing their driver's license. An unofficial directive from the country's leadership effectively prohibits women from driving. Between 2019 and 2021, women were systematically refused employment as taxi or public drivers, reinforcing gender-based economic disparities. despite Article 16 of the law of Turkmenistan on state guarantees for ensuring equal rights and equal opportunities for women and men, which state that women have the right to participate in government, their role remains largely symbolic. Women who hold leadership positions have no real power or influence. Additionally, the government does not support businesses led by women who are not of Turkmen ethnicity. Such companies face forced closures and their leaders are pressured to step down. One case currently under review by the Committee of the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women involves a female entrepreneur who was forced to close her business, had property confiscated, and was compelled to flee the country due to government persecution. Women employed in state or budgetary institutions face strict dress codes that enforce traditional clothing norms. Women are required to wear only national attire, cover their heads with scarves, and wear traditional Turkmen patterns. Additional restrictions include bans on dyeing hair blonde, getting nail extensions, and wearing bright nail polish. According to Article 3 of the Law of Turkmenistan on state guarantees for ensuring equal rights and equal opportunities for women and men, women are guaranteed equal rights regardless of nationality. However, in practice, women with non-Turkmen surnames are systematically excluded from government and budgetary organizations. There are non-Turkmen women in leadership positions, further entrenching ethnic discrimination in employment and governance. Female prisoners in Turkmenistan endure particularly severe persecution. They are subjected to sexual abuse by prison officials, lack access to medical care, and are frequently tortured. During COVID-19 pandemic, many female prisoners died due to a complete lack of treatment and oxygen. When prisoners exhibited symptoms such as coughing, they were transferred to a separate barracks where they often died without medical assistance. Women who give birth in prison face even harsher conditions. They are shackled to gynecological chairs during childbirth, and only after doctors raise public outcries do officers remove the handcuffs and leave the delivery room. Furthermore, all prison guards in these facilities are men, which further exacerbates the violation of female prisoners' rights and dignity. If a woman lacks relatives who can pay for her decent living conditions in prison, she is often forced into cohabitation with a prison warden, duty officers, and other officials to secure basic necessities and humane treatment. Women who are divorced are not considered human at all. If they do not have a powerful father or brother, they are forced into cohabitation with special service curators. Otherwise, they risk being dismissed from their jobs. Additionally, our investigation has uncovered numerous cases of sexual violence against girls aged 16 to 18 by the cousins of the President of Turkmenistan. None of the victims had the opportunity to file an official complaint with law enforcement, and no formal investigations have ever been conducted. Sexual and domestic violence remain widespread despite being criminalized under Articles 107, 110, 111, 132, 134, and 135 of the Criminal Code of Turkmenistan. Law enforcement authorities often dismiss complaints of domestic abuse, believing such matters should be resolved within families. Additionally, there has been a rise in coercion to cohabit, particularly within the healthcare system, where Ministry of National Security curators exert pressure on women. Women working with human rights organizations face systematic persecution by Turkmen authorities. Law enforcement officers summon activists for interrogation, threaten them with imprisonment, and even revoke their parental rights. One activist was deliberately struck by a car at a pedestrian crossing after receiving multiple warnings to cease her work. Another was physically attacked by neighbors. And in one case, a 9-year-old girl, the granddaughter of human rights activist Rezgul Boltayeva, was severely beaten by minors because her grandmother cooperated with a human rights organization. The girl required extensive hospitalization and rehabilitation. Diana Dadasheva, a Turkmen human rights activist, is currently residing in Turkey, is among those facing severe persecution. She is targeted for her work in exposing violations of women's rights in Turkmenistan. The Turkmen authorities forced her son, upon his return to Turkmenistan, to publicly renounce her and pledge not to maintain any contact with her. The same coercion was applied to her husband's brother, who was also forced to disown both his brother and Diana. Dadasheva currently lives in Turkey with her 2 young children, one of whom is ill. However, due to her situation, she lacks access to medical assistance for her child. The relentless persecution by Turkmen authorities underscores the dangers faced by women who dare to speak out against human rights violations. Women of Jewish descent in Turkmenistan face systematic persecution. The government prohibits them from working in state institutions, and their Turkmen spouses are also subjected to harassment. Anti-Semitic rhetoric is unofficially promoted by the state, blaming Jewish communities for the country's socio-economic problems. One prominent case involves a Jewish woman who was charged with fabricated crimes, had her property confiscated, and was threatened with sexual violence. Her home in Ashgabat was completely destroyed, with personal belongings either stolen or sold in local markets. Gender discrimination in Turkmenistan is deeply entrenched, impacting various aspects of women's lives, from employment in governments to personal safety and human rights advocacy. The persecution of women who report these violations, including those who have fled abroad, further demonstrates the authorization government's commitment to silence and dissent. Urgent international intervention is needed to hold the Turkmen authorities accountable and provide protection to those affected by these abuses. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia. And to continue with the issue of women's rights, I would like to turn to Ms. Yulia Serebrennik, human rights defender and an expert on healthcare system.
Меня зовут Юлия Серебренник, я учредитель организации «Права и свободы граждан Туркменистана». Хотела бы обратить ваше внимание.
My name is Yulia Serebrennik. I'm a founder of the human rights organization Rights and Freedoms of Turkmenistan Citizens.
Хотела бы обратить ваше внимание на гендерные нарушения прав человека в Туркменистане.
I'd like to draw your attention to gender-based violence in Turkmenistan.
Туркменистан переживает ужасные времена.
Turkmenistan is experiencing horrible times.
Страна разорена 2 тиранами.
The country has been ravaged by 2 tyrants.
Это отец и сын Бердымухамедова.
Father and son Berdimuhamedov.
Народ доведен до нищеты.
The people have been driven to poverty.
А женщины
and women
вынуждены идти на крайние меры, чтобы прокормить себя и своих детей.
Are forced to take extreme measures just to feed themselves and their children.
Их жизнь превратилась в борьбу за выживание.
Their life has become a struggle for survival.
Но вместо поддержки со стороны государства,
but instead of receiving support from the state,
их подвергают
they
преследованию.
face prosecution.
Многим женщинам приходится продавать себя,
Many women are forced to sell themselves
потому что у многих нет другого способа заработать на еду и жилье.
because they have no other way to earn money for food and shelter.
Однако власть вместо того, чтобы решить проблему бедности,
However, instead of addressing the root causes of poverty, the authorities
объявляет этих женщин преступницами,
brand these women as a criminal,
обвиняя их в занятии проституцией.
accusing them of engaging in prostitution.
Полицейские сотрудники Министерства национальной безопасности
Police officers and officials from the Ministry of National Security
используют это положение в своих интересах.
exploit this situation in their own benefits.
Если женщина соглашается на сотрудничество,
If women agrees to cooperate,
они как бы прикрывают ее.
they somehow cover her.
Если нет, подвергают жестоким
If
преследованиям.
she refuses to cooperate with them, they're subject her to a brutal prosecution.
Страшнее всего, что под удар попадают не только взрослые женщины, но и девочки.
The most horrifying aspect is that not only adult women are at the risk, but also young girls.
Есть ужасающие случаи половых связей с детьми 9, 10, 11, 13 и 14 лет.
There are appalling cases of sexual relations involving children as young as 9, 10, and 11 years old.
Власти закрывают на это глаза, а общество загнано в страх и нищету.
The authorities turn a blind eye to these crimes, and the society remains trapped in fear and poverty.
Институт семьи в Туркменистане уничтожен.
The institution of family in Turkmenistan has been destroyed.
Люди перестали доверять друг другу, заботиться о своих близких.
People have stopped trusting each other, stopped caring for their loved ones. Семьи распадаются, дети голодают и вынуждены искать еду в мусорных баках. Families are falling apart, children are starving, and they are forced to search for food in garbage bins. Кто в этом виноват? Who is responsible for this? Ответ очевиден. Власть. The answer is obvious. А во власти Бердымухамедовы. It is the government that has been driven by both son and father Berdimuhamedov. Это именно они загнали народ в нищету. They are driving the people into poverty. Это они лишили работы. They stripped them of jobs. Присвоили все богатства страны. Seized all the wealth of the country. Оставив наше население без средств к существованию. And left our population without the means to survive. Это именно они довели женщин до того. They have forced women. Что наши женщины вынуждены продавать себя. Into selling themselves. А ихних детей до того, что они стали жертвами насилия и эксплуатации. And their children became victims of violence and exploitation. Сколько еще людей должно пострадать? How many people must suffer? Чтобы мир обратил внимание на этот ад. Before the world pay attention to that nightmare. Как долго наши женщины в Туркменистане и наши дети How long are women in Turkmenistan and будут страдать от безнаказанности чиновников? Continue to endure the impunity of милиции, представителей режима and the regime всех правоохранительных органов and all law enforcement officers. А самое главное от клана Бердымухамедов. The most important from Berdimuhamedov's. Молчать об этом. We cannot keep silence. Значит, становиться соучастником преступления. And to remain silent about this means to become an accomplice to the crime. Туркменистану нужна срочная международная помощь. Turkmenistan urgently needs international assistance. Иначе последствия будут еще страшнее. Or the consequences will be even more destructive. Спасибо за внимание. Thank you.
Thank you, Yulia, for your very powerful statement. And with this being said, I would like to turn to our audience today and open the floor for any kind of questions and remarks that our attendees might have. Seeing none in the room, I would like to turn to Ms. Diana Serebrennik, Chief Executive Officer of Rights and Freedoms of Turkmenistan Citizens, for some closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude our side event with a call to international community to oblige Turkmenistan to comply with the international treaties, pacts, and conventions it has signed. Given the country's neutral status that have been recognized by the UN, Turkmenistan is obliged to implement the decision issued by the Human Rights Committees or Committees of the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women and all other UN committees, and take measures to prevent these crimes in the future. Thank you very much.
Many thanks to the panel and our audience today. We believe that the testimony shared has served a powerful reminder that for those who continue to face repressions, arbitrary detention, and censorship, we cannot leave them unheard. It is essential that we strengthen international cooperation, amplify the voices of victims and human rights defenders, and hold those responsible for violations accountable. Only through collective action and persistent advocacy, we can push for a meaningful change and justice for the people of Turkmenistan. Thanks to all.